for all of us that are running, you have a broad coalition of Virginians who care about health care, making sure everyone gets affordable health care here in the Commonwealth of Virginia, improving education, growing the economy, making sure all of our roads work. And I just want to say this to everybody in Hampton Roads. 8 years ago, when I came in office with Ralph, your transportation system was a mess. We saved the Port of Virginia. It was bankrupt when we took office. Do not forget that. We did the 64 road project, 564, Hampton Roads Bridge Tunnel, Chesapeake Bay Bridge. Everything you wanted, we did for you over the course of the last 8 years. That's what democratic leadership is all about. And don't forget, we bought down those tolls and we ended the excessive toll and fines on your citizens here in Hampton Roads. If you remember that day I came down here, those 3 African-American women had $50,000 of bills. I took those bills on live television and I just ripped them up and said, we're not paying them here in Virginia. An Australian company will not come to Virginia and rip off our citizens. And they got the message, folks. But here's what we're going to do. I've got 20 comprehensive plans about how to take Virginia to the next level. 166 very serious plans of what I want to do. When you get a chance, review them. But let me tell you right now, we're going to create great jobs in every corner of the Commonwealth. I promise you this. We will get $15 an hour minimum wage by 2024. We will make child care more affordable here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. We will get paid sick leave here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And we will get paid family medical leave here in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And guess who's against all of those things? Glenn Youngkin. And we are going to bring down the cost of prescription drugs. We're going to fight hard to make sure everybody has access. Working, Ralph and I, we have a goal working together. We will be the first state in America where every one of its citizens gets access to quality, affordable health care. Folks, we know it. We know we can do this because we've done it before. When we came in office back in 2014, we inherited a gigantic deficit. Our economy was in total chaos, if you remember back then. We got to work. 200,000 new high-paying jobs. Personal income went up 14%. Unemployment dropped in every city and county when we had the governorship here in Virginia. We leaned in on clean energy to create those jobs of the 21st century. And Glenn Youngkin, he just said the other day on Wavy TV during the debate that he doesn't believe that humans contribute to climate change. He was asked in the debate if he would sign Virginia's Clean Economy Act. You know what he said? He said no. Well, let me tell you, I just got in here. I drove down from Norfolk, Virginia, and half the roads were closed today because of the flooding that's going on from the rainstorm we had. You cannot come here and not see the damage. Right here in Hampton Roads, the sea level rise
1, 2, 3.
14 inches since 1950. Think of that. This is serious. That's why I need you to get out and vote.
2.5 minutes.
I worked very hard. We did record investments in education, infrastructure, and transportation. But make no mistake, we did this by working in a bipartisan way. We'll work with anybody if it's good for Virginia. We work with reasonable Republicans, but Glenn Youngkin is not a reasonable Republican. And it's not just about banning books and election conspiracy theories. It's also about education.
Moon Center in downtown Norfolk is packed, and it's packed with minute out with energy. It's partly is packed, and it's packed with energy. It's partly because of the excitement leading up to some of the that excitement for some of the people who will be speaking, people who will take the stage. That's including Grammy Award-winning artist Pharrell Williams and Vice President Kamala Harris. They'll speak to the crowd shortly.
We all know what's happened and the seriousness of this. Women's lives will be put in danger. He wants to bring the Texas law here in Virginia. He got caught on tape saying he will ban abortions and defund Planned Parenthood. And then he said, oh, we're not going to tell anybody about it because if they find out, they won't vote.
The Half Moon Center is packed, and it's packed with energy. That is partly because of Democratic hopeful Terry McAuliffe on the stage. Stand by.
For 50 years, the Supreme Court has protected Roe v. Wade. Now it's the Trump Supreme Court. 6th grade. They are going to eliminate it. It's all what happened in Texas. You know what they're going to do in Mississippi. Glenn Young, that we do not want to.
The Half Moon Center in downtown Norfolk is packed, and it's packed with energy. Democratic hopeful for the governor's mansion, Terry McAuliffe, is on stage now, but the excitement here is also partly because of some of the names, some of the people that'll be taking the stage. That's including Virginia Beach native Pharrell Williams and Vice President Kamala Harris. They'll speak to the crowd shortly, but Terry McAuliffe, he is rallying up support in one of his last pushes to get voters from right here in Hampton Roads. He's even captured the support from local leadership like NFL Hall of Famer Bruce Smith, Virginia Beach Councilman Aaron Rouse, Congressman Elaine Luria, and Norfolk Mayor Dr. Kenny Alexander.
For you to bring this baby home for me.
We'll have a wrap-up of this rally, this Get Out the Vote rally on 13 News Now at 11 in downtown Norfolk. Angelique Aaron Talk, 13 News Now.
By 5 o'clock tomorrow. If you haven't voted, I need you to get in those polls. Get those folks out there. We need you out there. We need you to do it. Because let me say finally, 40 states in this country are rolling back voting rights. They're taking them away from citizens. Here in Virginia, through the great work of the folks here, we've actually expanded voting rights. We had a 45-day early vote. We had Sunday voting for the first time in Virginia history. And this is personal to me, voting rights. As you know, as your governor, I leaned in on a 102-year-old racist Jim Crow law that if you commit a felony, you never get to vote again. I felt that was wrong. 40 states, it's automatic. And a lot of people said, oh, don't do it. It's too complicated, too complex. You'll get in trouble. They'll sue you, blah, blah, blah. I didn't get out of run for governor to worry about what other people said. So in April of 2016, with a swipe of my pen, I gave 173,000 Virginians back the right to vote. That is more than any governor in U.S. history and is the largest enfranchisement of voters in over 100 years. We understand this here in Virginia. You cannot let them take it away. And I don't want them to say after Election Day, oh, we gave them all this expanded voting and they didn't use it, therefore take it away. We can't have that happen, folks. I want Virginia to be the symbol of democracy. Those other 40 states, look what happened in Virginia in 2021. They are the model of democracy for the United States of America. So that was my best day. And I'm going to close with this. My darkest day was Charlottesville, when 1,000 neo-Nazis and white supremacists came into our state. They marched through Charlottesville. You could see the hatred in their faces. You could hear the hatred in their words. You could smell the hatred in their torches as they marched down. After that horrific violence that day, and Heather Heyer was killed, and we lost 2 state troopers that day, I begged the President of the United States on the telephone to do the right thing, to come out and condemn these folks and call them out for what they were. He refused to do that, President Trump, if you remember, and he called them fine people. So I did what the president should have done. I told these white supremacists and neo-Nazis to get the hell out of Virginia, leave our state, and don't you ever come back to Virginia. The people who marched on Charlottesville represent a very dark part of America. A group of people who actually believe in white supremacy. They believe in hate, and they believe in violence. Politicians have encouraged it. Even after that, and even after the January 6th insurrection, Glenn Youngkin said that Donald Trump represents so much of why he was running for governor. Folks, Virginia, we are so much better than the politics of hatred. And in the next 3 days, we are going to prove it. Let's get out, let's vote, and let's keep Virginia blue. Thank you very much.
Hallelujah. Girl, sit your hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch. Don't believe me, just don't believe. Hallelujah. Girl, sit your hallelujah. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Cause Uptown Funk don't give it to you. Saturday night and we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Grammy Award-winning musician, producer, and philanthropist, Pharrell Williams.
$757. How you guys doing? I'm here for one reason, and honestly one reason only, and that is to talk to you guys and girls and fellow human beings, by the way, about the importance of voting. You know, just when we were pulling into the venue, you know, there was like a big group, I suspect, of like the opposing side. And they were yelling and they were screaming. And no, this is okay, because you just never know what people's phones are telling them. But the thing that it made me think about is it's interesting to me when people choose a side, you know, they forget one thing that they actually really do agree on. We're Virginians. And to me, I think that's important. So when I talk to you about like the importance of voting, it's like, you may feel the way you feel and you may vote whatever way you vote, but you're never gonna have a conversation with someone who sees you as the opposition. So it's time that we as Virginians remember that that's what we are first and foremost. We're Virginians. So when you have a conversation with somebody wearing another color, interesting, it sounds like gangs, right? Wearing another color that you might not necessarily agree with, you still have the conversation with that person because that person is a what? That's right, and we're in the 757. So it's important that you guys go out and vote tomorrow. And people, like I said, when they're wearing opposing colors, you got to get that out of your mind. You got to remember that first and foremost, that's a creation that God made. It's another human being, right? And they're Virginian. And it's important for you all to be a part of the process. That should be the number one thing on your mind. And maybe if they, just maybe, if they see that love and you coming from that tender place, they may follow you in the direction that you're going. I also want to tell you that there's a lot of power not only in the voting in the, you know, with the ballot box. And there's also a lot of power in your wallet. You know, so if you don't like the way that an establishment behaves, you don't have to spend your money there. That's also your power. So if they look at you funny because you're a certain color, or because you identify as something, or because you do not identify as something, you can remember that that is another way that you can also vote. You can elect to go to another restaurant, another hotel, another place of business. And there's no sublimes in what I'm saying. I mean that from the bottom of my heart. You literally could be, and I don't want y'all to scoff at this, but you could literally be, you know, a son and a daughter of like the Confederacy. If you are a Virginian, you're a Virginian. But you gotta keep that same energy with the LGBTQIA. And you gotta keep that same energy when you see a black person, or a person that is Chinese, or a person that is Native American, or just for our women, period, right? Because women come in all shapes, sizes, and colors. We have to keep that same energy. So I'm not here to tell you to vote for a person or vote for a party. I'm asking you to vote and be a part of the process of being a Virginian. So I love you guys and girls, and I love Virginia. And you know Virginia has a history. It has a history. It has a super heavy history. It's heavy. And if you are a minority or an African American, at least, or Native American, you walk around with that gravity every day. But however, I am still standing here as a Virginian. We love Portsmouth too. We love all the 757. Don't we, 757? So again, when you go home, if you haven't voted already, speak to your neighbor, no matter what color they are, no matter what color they're wearing. Speak to your fellow Virginian. That's how we show love to each other. And last but not least, I'm going to bring up the former governor and maybe the governor to be again, Terry McAuliffe.
All right, are we ready, ladies and gentlemen? Kids? I have the distinct honor of bringing onto the stage someone very special. I love this woman. I've known her for a very long time. She is a great fighter, and she has made history as the first woman vice president of the United States of America, the first African-American vice president of the United States of America. But she has not wasted a second. She and Joe Biden have gotten into office dealing with COVID because of the mess that Donald Trump left. She's worked hard. She's also understood how tough COVID has been on women. 5.4 million have lost their job during COVID. So she's leading the effort to get women back into the workforce. Lower child care, making sure that schools stay open. The president has given her so many tough challenges. But why we all need to love her is because the Biden-Harris administration has been so great to the Commonwealth of Virginia. We've received $14.3 billion, right, Governor? $14.3 billion in aid, which included $300 billion just for our education system. That's what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden have done for us through the American Rescue Plan. So let us give a great, rousing Norfolk welcome to the Vice President of the United States of America, Kamala Harris.
Terry McAuliffe! It's so good to be back in Virginia. It's so good to be here, Norfolk. You're gonna bring this home, right? Yes, you are. Yes, you are. There are so many incredible leaders who are here right now. The governor's here, Mark Herring, I worked with him. The Attorney General is here. We're gonna elect Hala Ayala to be the next Lieutenant Governor. We have got the Virginia House of Delegates. We're going to take that back, right? Virginia Beach and Norfolk. Bobby Scott is here. Elaine Luria is here. They're all here, and we're all here together. We are all here together. So listen, 4 days to go. Tomorrow is a very important day, and the days leading up to Tuesday are very important days, and Tuesday is a critical day that will determine whether we either turn back the clock or move it forward, having a vision and knowing what can be, unburdened by what has been, having the ability to have a governor of this beautiful Commonwealth of Virginia who understands the people, who has always been a fighter for the people, who has the experience to represent the people, who has the courage and the fight to fight for the people, all for the benefit of this beautiful state. And Virginia, I'm here because the president and I care deeply about Terry McAuliffe, about the Commonwealth of Virginia, and about the future of our nation. Now, you all know that every 4 years when this election happens for governor of Virginia, it's a tight election, it's a close election, and it is a bellwether for what happens in the rest of the country. You know, the last time I was standing with Terry, I saw a bunch of signs and they said, "Don't Texas, Virginia." Right? Let's not Texas, Virginia. Because you see, what happens in Virginia will in large part determine what happens in 2022, 2024, and on. And so I'm here to, yes, agree with everything you know that Pharrell talked about love of this state, everything that the former and future governor has talked about his experience and his vision. And I'm also here to talk about the fact that each one of you in your possession has the ability to determine, yes, who will be the next governor, but also by extension, given the importance of this Virginia election, how the country is going to move. And in that way, each of you has a power to impact the lives of people you may never meet, people who may never know your name, but because of what you do tomorrow and the next day and the next day and Tuesday, their lives will forever be impacted by what you do in this election. The power is in your hands. And elections matter. Elections matter. If Virginia hadn't turned out, if you hadn't did what you did in 2020, I wouldn't be standing here. Elections matter. Organizing matters. Talking to your neighbors matter. Texting, emailing, seeing a perfect stranger on the street, but in their face, like Pharrell talked about, in the face of a stranger, seeing a neighbor with an equal investment in the outcome of this race. It matters. So we have got to do everything in our power to reach out to everyone we see and know and remind them not only that this election matters, but that they matter, that we matter, that Virginia matters. And you know, if you want a reference point about how elections matter, yes, I would ask you, hopefully with a smile, to reflect on 2020, but I'll also ask you to reflect on what happened 4 years before. When a lot of us thought the right thing will happen, it'll be all right. And one of the lessons we learned among many, we can take nothing for granted ever. Every time in our nation when we have experienced and seen progress, it was not because we sat back and assumed it would all be all right. It is because we stepped up, because we know that progress never comes without hard work and often a fight. So what's at stake in this election? Why are you asking us, Kamala, to do all of this? Well, who is governor matters. Who is governor matters. If you care about the rights of women to make decisions about their own bodies, who is governor matters. If you care about whether there's a governor who says, I respect the right of a woman in consultation with her family, her God, to make decisions about her own body, elections matter. Electing Terry McAuliffe will matter. If in the middle of a recovery from a pandemic, you believe that health care and health coverage matters, who is governor will matter. If you believe that concerning oneself with the condition and well-being of our members of our military matter, who is governor will matter. Just look at his record. when he essentially ended veteran homelessness when he was governor before. Who is governor matters. When we are looking at whether we take seriously this beautiful earth we have been given and the seriousness of this climate crisis. Who is governor will matter in terms of saying we must prioritize these issues and not accept false choices. We care about jobs and we care about the climate. We need to reduce greenhouse gas emissions. We need to invest in renewable energies. We need governors who stand up, stand tall, stand strong on these issues that are unique in so many ways about this moment and why this moment matters. If you care how workers are doing and working people, and you understand that when 2 million women had to leave the workforce, a large part of it had to do with an inability to afford or have access to child care. Who is governor matters. When you understand how many workers are in what we call the sandwich generation, raising young children and caring for elderly relatives and parents. And whether you have a governor who stands up and says, let's invest in an approach like Build Back Better that says let's have at-home care and elder care and make it affordable and accessible. Who is governor matters. When you understand that whether you are a member of a labor union or not, you have labor to thank for the 5-day work week, for the weekends, for sick leave, for paid leave if you've got it, and that a governor matters on whether we will fight always to protect collective bargaining. Who is governor matters. This election matters. If you recognize that, yes, we've come a long way, but we still have a long way to go on LGBTQ rights and passing the Equality Act, who is governor matters. These next 4 days matter. And the power is in your hands. And we've seen the power of the people. In fact, I will tell you, on the list of who is governor matters, if you believe that the right to vote and access to the polls matters, who is governor matters. When we talk about Don't Texas Virginia, that's one of the top things I have in mind. Choice, one of the top things I have in mind. Watch what's happening around this country. This is no joke. You think they don't think and aren't watching this around the country to think if we can take Virginia, we can do this a lot of other places? Don't let Virginia be an experiment. Who is governor matters on an essential issue like voting rights. And here in Virginia, Governor Northrop, the elected leaders of Virginia, you've done an extraordinary job. Virginia has become a model. On what it means to say that if we will maintain and strengthen our democracy, we will not make it more difficult for people to vote. We will make it easier for people to vote. And sometimes we don't realize how good we got it until it's taken away. Let's not learn that lesson, Virginia. Let's not learn that lesson. You know, every morning I read what's called the PDB, the Presidential Daily Briefing. Now, let me tell you about the PDB. The PDB is a classified amount of information about threats to our nation's security and hotspots around the world. Now, I'm not going to talk about what I read every morning, but I'm going to tell you this, based on what I know. There is a real conversation happening around this world about the battle between democracies and autocracies. There's a real battle happening where people are watching what we are doing in our country and making a decision about whether that is, in fact, a role model of how you can be strong and be a democracy, or whether it doesn't work. That's happening around this world. I have had direct conversations with leaders from all over the world on this. I have had conversations where I had the Chancellor of Germany, Angela Merkel, at the official residence of the Vice President, had her over for breakfast. And that was a topic she raised. What's going on, is essentially what she said. And I told her that we are strong in our beliefs, that though we may be tried and tested, that the American people will always stand for the pillars of our democracy. And we know, as imperfect as we are, as flawed as we may be, one of the strengths of who we are as a nation is we always fight for our ideals. We are a work in progress. There is no question about that. But we fight for our ideals. So when we're talking about an election that's 4 days away, well, really it's tomorrow, because I would prefer that you don't wait till Tuesday to vote. I would prefer you vote tomorrow and tell everybody you know to vote tomorrow. Nothing like saying, you want to meet me tomorrow? What you doing tomorrow? You got any plans tomorrow? Tomorrow's a good day. It's going to be a good day. But the point is, there is so much power in the hands of the people, including not only determining the outcome of this very, very important election, but making a statement about who we are as a nation. All of that is at stake. And I think moments like this should cause us to really look in a mirror and look in that mirror and say, I've got power. I've got power. Say, I've got power. The power is in my hands. I have the power to decide. I have the power to weigh in. I have the power to order what I want for my children and my family. And I will do that through my vote. And I will vote for Terry McAuliffe to be the next governor of the Commonwealth of Virginia. Thank you.
From the driveway of my house to your apartment where I am waiting now. Come on, don't think night's young. Let's go. NYC, Portland, Austin, Anaheim. Maybe not Anaheim. Keep an open mind. I'm just saying, baby, let's go. I don't care. Anywhere. Like a river connects to just wanna come back with a memory.